to start off, like, we need to also define boring.
Yeah.
What is boring?
It's true.
And like people would say, you know, something that's boring is something that's considered like tedious or just lacks interest. Sorry. And I feel like many people, like, let's just say those who are not Christian or saved, they probably think, they have these preconceived ideas that yes, the Christian life is possibly boring because all you lot do is pray, you're really religious, but they don't really understand the aspect of Christians can still be fun, but we have morals that we live by and that we have, that we can't do everything like how other people do it because we are different, we are set aside. And scripture says, I'm paraphrasing here, a few are chosen. Hey, many are called, but a few are chosen. That's it, sorry. It's like, it's not, everybody is not suited for this life. The Christian life is like, it's like a mindset. Do you know what I mean? You're not like everybody. You got to do things differently. And by doing things differently, it means sometimes, you know, maybe missing out on that party. But I'm not saying you can't go to parties, because you can definitely still go parties. You can still go maybe like concerts. But at the end of the day, what's your intention? What are you trying to get out of going to the club? What are you trying to get out going to this rave? Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it depends on your morals and your principles. But for me, I definitely do not think the Christian life is boring. I'm still enjoying myself, but I know my boundaries, if that makes sense. So yeah.
And yeah, one thing I want to add on to as well is that if you feel like the Christian life is boring, it's because you're not plugged into the source, if that makes sense. You know, it's basically the way that I like to think about it. It's like an analogy where you have a charger in it, like when you charge your phone, but sometimes you forget to switch on the light, the switch. And so when you forget to switch on, you feel like, oh, my phone's not charging. But unless you turn on the switch, that's when you're actually plugged in. And so in a sense where when we want to experience God, it's actually not boring, but it's in a sense where we need to have a genuine encounter with God. Because if you have a personal encounter with God, we're just going to say, oh, this is boring. And one thing that I want to say is that as well is that it has to be on an experience thing as well. Like, you have to experience it. You're not like, because people feel like Christianity is boring because they're sitting back. And the way I like to think about it like this is like, when you have a supporter in it, when like you're like, you know, football, when you're supporting a team, like people that are sitting back here don't really experience it as the people who are actually in the stadium. Because when you're in the stadium, you feel the wave, the momentum, everything. So the Christian's life is boring. It's only to people who have not experienced God in a sense. So that's what I want to say. So
can I add on to that?
Go on.
I feel like if you feel like Christian life is boring, it's because you do not know God. I feel like if you knew God, once you know God, you know your purpose. And once you know your purpose, you walk in your purpose. And you realize that the things that people class as fun, which, let's be honest, our generation class fun as drinking, smoking,
get a high,
club, busting a 1-2 wine. That's fun to them. But I feel like it's because they don't know God and they're not walking in their calling or in their assignment or actually being a child of God.